My dad left the family and went without contact when I, 35 male, was 4. My mom remarried and had 2 kids with my stepdad. My stepdad never treated me poorly, but always clarified that I was Dale, fake name, to him. He was not my dad. My mom never tried to fix the relationship. She honestly loved her new family and always saw me as a burden. That's what I thought, at least until it was confirmed after my freshman year of college, when my mom asked me not to come home anymore. I blocked her after that phone call and have had no contact with her or my stepdad and half-brother since then. I do still speak to my half-sister, 25 female, at her insistence, but that's my only contact. It took me a long time to deal with basically being kicked out of my family. I grew to be pretty independent and thought I'd live alone until I met my fiance, 28 female, 4 years ago. We've had a great relationship, and her family invited me in with open arms. She comes from a typical suburban family, and they're great. Over the years, I've told her about my issues with my family. She met my sister and never pushed for more until we started planning the wedding. When we started talking about who we would invite, I talked about friends from college and coworkers, and she kept saying I should invite my parents. At first, I thought she was trying to gauge if I wanted to. I said I would not be inviting my parents. She said okay, but then brought it up again the next day. I calmly explained how much they hurt me, how growing up feeling you were unwanted and then having it confirmed at 19 really stunted my mental health. Over the years, I've realized it's their problem, and if they ever want to solve it, then they can initiate. But I'm in contact with my sister, and it's clear that they're happy, insisting that I don't exist. It sucks, but it's their problem that they've thrust onto me. I can't be the one to solve it. I thought it had ended, but she brought it up 2 more times. The last one was last night. We were about to start the save the dates, and she said, "Are you sure you don't want to invite your parents? I feel like I might just invite them on my side." And I snapped. I told her, we should probably just throw the invitations away, because if you can't respect what I've been through, then I don't want to marry you. I then went to our bedroom and fumed for a while. She came in to try to talk to me, and I walked out, grabbed my keys, and left. I came back around 11 p.m. after hanging with friends and slept on the couch. She left for work without a word to me, and I don't know where we stand. Her behavior is unacceptable, but I feel I may have gone too far. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Talk with her, lay all your cards on the table, and tell her you will never have contact with your parents, no matter what she or anyone else says. Also, make it clear that there won't be a wedding if your parents show up at the wedding. It's pretty clear she doesn't really respect your opinions on this, and since she's already threatened to invite them anyway, you should 100% be clear about what's going to happen. I feel like it's pretty likely she's already been in touch with them, and she's already invited them in with the plan to surprise OP with the reconciliation on his wedding day. Some people have martyr complexes where they feel like they need to force reconciliation so everyone can be a big happy family. Immature, selfish people will ignore boundaries in their pursuit of their delusions. Oh my God, now that you've said that, I can totally imagine her forcing this poor guy to have photos with this absolute idiot of a mother and father and then hang them on a wall of her house or something. The more I think about this woman's and his future wife's actions, the more I'm disgusted. But honestly, before you marry her, you two are in dire need of couples counseling for a few months to see if she really can respect your decision and if a marriage would have a future. As it stands now, because she can't even be an adult and talk to you, instead she's throwing a tantrum, she's not wife material. If she doesn't respect you now, she won't respect you once you're married. I'm part of a playdate group that my sister invited me to. We're all in our 30s and 40s and our daughters are in a young grammar school age range, but we're all at different life stages. Out of the group, my husband works a lot and makes the most money. While none of them are struggling, at least no one has outright said, we do have different budgets. There hasn't been any drama in the past 2 years until recently, when one of the girls, Autumn, got a purse, and everyone got one except for my daughter. She's 2 years younger than the other girls, so I didn't know how to feel about her getting a brand new purse, but I also didn't want her to be left out. Now, I only carry designer bags because I like the way they look, and because my daughter wants to be my mini-me, I bought us matching crossbody bags. It was adorable. I didn't see a problem with it since kids can't tell the difference, and when we were at our weekly play date, no one said anything, so I figured no one cared. Well, I was more than wrong when I checked the group chat. All the other moms, including my sister, were texting me, saying that they felt like we were trying to show off that we had money, which felt unfair because they were the ones who always brought up bills and shopping for clothes. Well, I usually stayed out of the conversation. Then Autumn's mom texted me that she was crying because she wanted the same bag for her approaching birthday now, and they couldn't afford it. And while I feel bad, I also think this is just a part of life. Even my daughter doesn't get everything she asks for because she sees it. So am I the idiot in this situation? Not the idiot. The fact that grown adults who are mothers are literally texting you about having a new purse and how it's unfair when they talk about their bills and think you showed off, when all you did was walk in with the purse and didn't say anything about it. Then that extra jealous one sends the most guilt-trippy text about her birthday, trying to guilt you into giving yours or your kid's bag. Who does this? It's unfair, I can't have it, so I'm going to make you feel bad for having it. Your sister is a piece of work as well. How dare she not have your back? But she's probably jealous of you and perpetuated this nonsense. Sometimes you just need to send a text that says, grow up. You are the idiot. She has a friend group. Things among peers occur at certain price points. It makes things easier for all involved. Instead, you brought a young grammar schooler a designer bag for your ego, not because she asked for it. With your husband's money, by the way. That's not unlike a parent giving a kid a cell phone or social media access when everyone else in the peer group doesn't have it. And all parents agreed it was kind of nice not having the phone or social media access at that age. You introduced status seeking to elementary school girls because mini-me is adorable. You didn't think it through sufficiently. It is strange that everyone's calling you out rather than whispering behind your back. So I guess you're not WASP. Yeah, getting a designer purse for a 6-year-old is ridiculous in more ways than one. No way she'll keep up with it, and it could potentially be unsafe. It doesn't just show that they're wealthier than the others. It shows that OP is wealthy enough that wasting money on a designer bag her young daughter will eventually ruin is no issue. Even Beyonce likes to shop at Target. Geez, what size designer bag does a kid want? Most of them want the ones covered in pink unicorn designs. First of all, yes, I'm bitter. I'm over it, but bitter. I, female 25, met my ex-fiance when I was 20 through one of my good friends. He's her brother. We dated from 20 to 23 and got engaged during that time. Prior to our meeting, he had a long-term relationship with another girl. I knew about it, but he assured me they were done. Well, they weren't. The day we sent the wedding invitations out, he called it all off. I was devastated and heartbroken, like I'd never been before and have never been since. I truly thought that man was my forever, and he just broke it off like nothing. 3 weeks later, he was back with the first girl. I don't think there was any physical overlapping, but emotionally for sure. They had been talking since we got engaged. Anyway, so that was 2 years ago, and I'm all put back together now, and have been for a while. I'm currently dating a phenomenal man who would never do that to me. I'm very happy, and while I had to take a few bumpy roads to get here, I'm grateful they took me to him. Anyway, recently my friend, his sister, let me know that he and the other girl are getting married. I was like, oh, LOL, cool. Good for him. I guess I said it sarcastically because she gave me a weird face. I was like, girl, what do you want me to say? She was like, maybe just be happy for him. I just said, okay, I hope he's happy. Well, that night I got a text from him. I don't even have his number saved, but I knew it was him because he said, my sister told me that you weren't enthusiastic about us. I understand, but I just wanted to say I'm sorry for everything I did and put you through. I just left him on red because no, I refused to go there again. I told my boyfriend and he was like, maybe engagements scare him, LOL. My boyfriend told me I wasn't obligated to accept his apology, and my mom told me I should have told him some harsher words. I didn't think about it again for another week until my friend brought it up again. She was like, honestly, it's been bothering me how you reacted. He's still my brother, and I was going to ask you to help me pick out an engagement gift for them. I was like, girl, you have to be kidding. In no way, shape, or form am I happy for them. In fact, I wish their relationship the absolute worst, and I'd rather die than pick out an engagement gift for my ex-fiance and his new fiance. She got so darn mad at me, she stormed out of the restaurant. Maybe I was a bit harsh, And maybe I should be over it and be the bigger person, but I just don't care enough to do that. I think I'm allowed to wish him the worst, considering he made me apologize to every extended part of my family for receiving an invitation to a wedding that was never going to happen. I was heartbroken and humiliated. Am I the idiot for not being happy for him? Not the idiot. How is this person a good friend? Is she deluded? Your friend is acting awfully. She shouldn't have told you her brother's reaction. It's just crap stirring. You didn't even react badly. Why on earth does she feel you need to be involved with picking gifts? That's obviously something you wouldn't want to do. I think this friendship has run its course. Oh, she likes her. She just likes the idea of celebrating her brother's wedding with all smiles, pretending he's a good person, and she figures OP's public acceptance and celebration of his wedding will achieve that. She clearly feels guilty and uncomfortable about it deep down. She knows what bro did was wrong. Instead of putting the blame and onus on who it should be, brother, she puts the blame on OP. Why can't you just get over it already so we can enjoy our special day? Imagine blaming the victim in a situation for you feeling bad for them. Grade A mind mess. I feel like this friend told OP about her brother because she wanted to hurt her. And when she realized it didn't work, she went to her brother. I feel like both of them are disappointed that OP's not being more hurt by them. It's as if they wanted to rub it in to make OP sad or something. Either way, they're both idiots. This guy waited till the day before the wedding to leave. He had a long time before that to not drop you in front of the altar, practically. How much do you all want to bet her friend knew about the entire thing from the get-go? You might need to cut her off if she doesn't stop her shenanigans. I, 25 female, am a server at a nice-ish restaurant in my city. Last night I was working and had a couple sit in my section. When I went to greet them, I felt the vibes were immediately off. The girl was glaring at me, and the guy was basically just eyeing my chest and smiling. When I took their drink order, the guy was flirtatious, asking me what my favorite was and saying that I must have good taste. I heard the girl mutter doubtful before telling me her drink order in a terse, rude tone. When I went back, the guy was eyeing me up again and accidentally brushed his hand down my thigh while I was placing their drinks. I stood straight up in shock, and then the girl said, "Can you stand normally and stop trying to push out your breasts like that?" I said, "Excuse me?" in a horrified tone that was pretty loud. Shock turned to anger, and I proceeded to tell them that they needed to pay for their drinks and leave immediately. I do not believe the customer's always right, so when they act up and cross the line, I do not tolerate it. However, I cannot say the same for my manager. He heard what I said and came over to ask what happened, and I explained the situation. The couple looked like two deer in the headlights and began to explain that it was all an act and that they were just role-playing a jealousy scenario since the boyfriend likes it when the girlfriend gets possessive. They said they had been to the restaurant before where they saw me, agreed that I was the perfect person to do it with, and were hoping that I would be into it. What the heck? I waited for my manager to back me up, but he just pulled me off to the side and said it sounded like it was all a misunderstanding, and I shouldn't have caused such a big scene in front of the other customers. I was fuming and told him that being touched inappropriately and verbally berated is not a misunderstanding, act or not. It's harassment, and I refused to serve them. I was so mad but not shocked at his response, since he had let things slide, which was blatant harassment before. We've tried to report him, but he's friends with the owners. I just stormed out because I was beyond angry and completely baffled at the whole situation. I called out tonight and I'm debating on quitting. The cherry on top of the whole thing is he texted me that he's disappointed that I'm leaving them short-staffed tonight over a misunderstanding and for not finishing closing out my section before I left last night. I want to laugh in his face because that's how ridiculous he sounds, but I do feel bad since I know my coworkers will have to cover my section. A few of them know what happened and have been mostly supportive, but one of the guys told me I shouldn't kink shame and I should be glad that I'm hot. I've just about lost my mind from that comment, but I want to be clear that calling out harassment is not shaming. I couldn't care less how anyone expresses their sexuality as long as it's consensual. Please let me know if I'm the idiot. Oh, heck no, not the idiot. What the heck? It was beyond inappropriate for them to involve you in their play without warning you or getting your consent. It was totally inappropriate for your manager to allow harassment and refuse to back you up. And the coworker who said you were hot is also guilty of harassment. You shouldn't shame them. How can anyone say something that stupid about this situation? If you were a consenting participant, that would be one thing, but you were not, which means they totally crossed the line. You should quit if your manager's going to allow that kind of harassment. It's a shame the manager didn't back you up. Who knows if the couple was even telling the truth? They could have made it up on the spot. Even if it's true, what right do they have to come in and deliberately insult the restaurant staff, thus preventing them from doing their job? I would write a letter of complaint to the restaurant owner. Be sure to mention the other employee who called you hot. Yep, OP's manager is an idiot. The gentleman touched you inappropriately, and neither of them got any kind of consent or permission from you to include them in this little charade. Also, I'd find a way to report the incident or find a new job. They didn't have your back, and they will continue to mistreat you or other servers. How's this manager even employed? Friends or not, if the owners continue to keep him in charge, their business is doomed, and someday, hopefully, they'll be sued out of existence. A couple of days ago, I was driving to see some friends while my husband was at work. I will admit, I don't always go exactly the speed limit, sometimes 5 to 10 over. When I was driving, the car in front of me stopped to take a turn. I wasn't too far behind the car and I rear-ended it. We took each other's insurance and the police filed a report. By the time I got home, my husband was already aware of the accident and absolutely flipped his crap. He said that if I wasn't in a darn rush, the accident wouldn't have happened, and if I had kept my darn eyes on the road, I would have seen the driver slow down. I wasn't just going to be berated, so I left, but not before I told him that his reaction was a bit over the top, considering it was just a car. He locked the door behind me, so I slept in the guest room that night. Since that day, he hasn't really said more than 5 words to me, ignored all my texts and calls, and attempted to apologize. I'm still sleeping in the guest room too. Am I the idiot for telling my husband it's just a car after I accidentally totaled it? You are the idiot. So you were speeding, following too closely, and potentially on your phone, gathered from context, not proven though, and you caused an accident. Also from context, you either don't work or you're part-time, because you could be hanging out with friends while he's at work, so it's likely your husband's responsibility to provide you with a new car, as well as pay your increased insurance premiums, since the accident was your fault. So no, it's not just a car. It is a significant waste of time and money for him to have to clean up due to your negligence. Have you learned any lesson from this at all? It sure doesn't sound like it. If you don't learn your lesson, your negligence will result in someone's death. Please be smarter and follow safe driving rules and practices. You need to grasp he's concerned about your safety, the financial implications of the accident, and the potential for serious injury. Instead of acknowledging your mistake and taking responsibility, you dismissed his concerns by saying it was just a car. This shows a lack of accountability and understanding of the gravity of the situation.